Hello there. So I'm doing a little mini series with some products that I own but I haven't really used, and these are the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink pads. You see I bought some colours, and they're one of those things that I've always wanted to use but never got around to them. I do have a set of distress inks which I have had for a while, but I never seem to get around to using them because I don't really make cards. Here's some of the tools. I've got these brushes to try out, and I've also got the blending tool as well, and some bits of scraps of card and some stencils to try these. So I'm very much a beginner. This is not a tutorial. We're just going to see if I can do this. If I can use these products, then pretty much anybody can. And the main thing that I do is journaling. I don't paint that much. I don't make cards very often unless it's for friends. So I want to see how useful these would be for someone who just does casual journaling like me. So I'm going to use some washi tape to make some little divided areas, and I'm going to see if I can blend them and if they're any good for me as someone who just journals for fun. So and the first one is picked raspberry, which is like a pink colour. So I picked raspberry. And these things raspberry, strawberry. Oh my gosh! Compared to my, I'm going too fast for myself. The mini ones, and just seeing. Here we go. How they blend. I'm not really used to doing this, so if I can do it, then anybody can. And this is my Stalogy notebook, my general notebook that I use the most day to day, just for scribbles. The paper is quite thin, but it's very, very good for not having any show through. Oops, I'm a little bit too rough with there. You can see the paper is quite thin, like I said, so it does crease. This is chipped sapphire. So I bought this as a pre-put together set, so it was a case of deciding which kind of colours that I wanted and that I would get the most use out of. So I'm just going to pull it off and change it to a new sponge. And let's see. And I'm really surprised. They really are so easy to blend. Like I said, I don't really have experience doing this, but just with dabbing it on and then just moving the sponge around, it looks really nice. I think the Distress Oxide have almost kind of like a chalkiness to them. And this is tea dye, like a brownie colour. And luckily I have enough of the spare pads, which makes it much easier to change colours. I think this colour would probably look quite nice for doing a sort of an aged look. Next one is Sponge Sugar, which I think is quite a popular colour. Some of these colours I think are also in the Distress ink range, because I do think I have Sponge Sugar also in the Distress inks. And it's funny looking at the pad because they look almost a bit dry, but you can see there's actually plenty of colour on there. And I think that you can re-ink them too, which is really great. It's very good for the environment. And we've got Mold Lawn, which is a nice sort of, well, we'll see. I think it's like a rich green. You see, I wasn't very even with my washi tape, so I am trespassing a little bit there, but it's fine. This is just for my own reference anyway. And then we've got Tumble Glass, which is another one that I see crafters use an awful lot. You can see why this would be the perfect colour for a sky. And I'm just writing the names here with my acrylic pen. Because knowing me, I'll get confused at some point, so I'm just going to scribble that in now. Then this next one is mustard seed, which is a bright sunshine yellow. Just getting a new pad on there and blending that one out. Then this is ripe persimmon, which is an orangey colour. I think with these pre-made sets that you can get from Amazon, which I will link to in the comments, all of the sets kind of cover the basic colour group. So you get a yellowy colour, you get an orangey colour, you get something that's similar to like a reddish colour, bluish colour, that kind of thing. Stormy sky, we've got a lot of blues here. I suppose it is one of those universally useful colours. So this is kind of different enough to tumble glass. It's more of a, what is it? It's kind of a slightly deeper blue, isn't it? This one is old paper, okay. It's like a very, very muted, mossy green. We've got ground espresso or dusty concord. Let's do dusty concord, which is a purple. Now I'm a big fan of purple, so I wasn't sure which one to get, but this is really nice, like a muted violet. Got this crushed olive, which is another kind of medium green. This is nice. I really like this colour actually. It's more of a yellowish green. Okay, now I'm just going to remove the washi tape, which is stuck on really well. Normally I can't get washi tape to stay on my notebook, but this time it's ripping up the paper. So it's not super neat or anything, but it works quite well for me as a reference page and I kind of like it. Okay, so now on to the next page. And can we just say, I am very impressed by how it has not run through at all, even though the Stalogy paper is quite thin. I think that's amazing that it hasn't come through. So I know this is another colour, by the way, Barn Door, which is a red. So I know that I can use this in my journals and it's not going to leak through or anything like that. So it's a perfect ink actually for journaling. Barn Door, which is this red. Look at me, I haven't even stuck it on straight. I know what's wrong with me. So I'll just adjust that. And next time with this washi tape, I will kind of stick it down somewhere else first so it loses some of its tack so it doesn't rip my paper. Barn Door, nice kind of orangey red colour. And then finally ground espresso, which is, I think it's a very dark brown. And those are my last two colours. I like that the pen doesn't sink into the ink, it doesn't spread or anything like that. Now the next thing I want to do is just see what difference the blending tool makes. So I'm going to use this brush and just try it and see, and oh, I'm actually quite surprised by how it looks. It looks really smooth. I wasn't sure the bristles would work that well. I have had these kind of brushes before, but actually for applying makeup, for applying foundation. But now I can see why people use these for blending inks, because it's really soft and it seems to apply the colour really evenly. So I'm going to try this with my stencil to see how it looks. So I'm just, see, with the stencil, I think the brush works really well. Better than the actual blending tool, because it really gets into little crevices. I'm just randomly mixing some colours on here just to see what it looks like when we lift it back up. And then I'm going to lift it up and see how it looks. Oh, I like it. That looks really good. And the inks themselves look really good too. And they seem to be drying super quick. They're not smudging or anything like that. And then I'm just going to try again randomly blending some colours together. Because again, that's not something, I'm not really used to doing that. So we'll see if I can manage a half decent effect. Because this is something I see quite often with people, especially with card makers. They do a really great job at blending in colours and mixing them together and doing these lovely blends. So just mixing in the yellow, and you can see that bit is, as it should, be going a little bit more orange in the middle. And yeah, I know you can probably mix this even better. I'm sure you can blend it in better, but like I'm saying, as an amateur at this, I want to see how it looks. Just try the different tools. I really like using the brushes actually. This is kind of like a rainbow colour. I really like how pigmented these colours are. They're so pigmented. And they're just kind of rubbing it in a little bit more. And then on this page, I'm just going to try something like I see people do all the time when they rub the pads onto some plastic. And then they tend to spray a bit of water. I'm just interested. I'm using a facial mist. Don't ask, it's the only thing I had to hand. I'm just going to mix it. I just want to see what it looks like more than anything. I know that people can do this. And then I had to pour some of my drinking water because it didn't look like it was moving very much. But you can see the Distress Oxide, does mix really well with water. So you could definitely do this if you wanted and use it for other types of painting, like watercolor painting. It clearly would work quite well for that. And I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. I think I'm just trying to do something with the addition of water. And I'm just sprinkling a bit of water on this time and dabbing off the excess. I do have a misting bottle somewhere. I don't know where it is. I'm just going to splatter it onto the paper anyway and we'll see what it looks like. But you could do something way better than this, but you get the idea. It does work. I think I have seen people do really nice watercolor effects with it. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think these are great. I think they work really well for the type of journaling I do, which is kind of casual journaling. They're pigmented, they blend so well. I don't regret buying them. I'm just putting them into this case, which is made for them. I have one space left actually. If anyone has a colour recommendation, then let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you again. Goodbye everyone.